So here we have a question that it's an interesting question, and it has a whole bunch of nuance to it. But I like these kind of questions because they really let me go, yeah, does this fit my belief? So here's the question: what is your take on the death penalty? Should there be judgments on earth if there is no sin? How should right and wrong be defined on earth if it was up to you, in your opinion? Well, that's a great question. We live in this valley of the shadow of death. We live in this place where horrible things can happen, and victimizers can harm victims and create these experiences. And I think the reason a victimizer victimizes because is they're lost in their own fears, and they're not in a pleasant place already. They're striving for power over others, and they're lost in their own fears. The people who are victims are going through fear, and as I've said many times, fear is what we go through to experience what love truly is. The death penalty is an interesting question because in the physical world, many will want those who cause pain to suffer pain. And many will say, well, they killed someone, so they should be killed. But that concept of that judgment of the death penalty assumes that death is finite. Because my personal experiences upon leaving the body was I went to someplace beautiful and wonderful and loving and caring. And, if in the physical world you really want to give punishment, do you really want to send someone to paradise for doing something terrible in the physical world? Do you really want them to happen? I mean, if you truly wanted a real punishment for someone, you would imprison them for the rest of their life. That's what you would do. You would keep them safely away from all other people so that they could not harm again. And you would put them in with people who harm each other. And that would be a physical world punishment. As far as the death penalty, it really is an interesting animal because the only thing it's really appeasing is the people who are no longer experiencing the love of the person who has been killed. So it's giving a finite ending to people who are left behind and in pain. So does that actually take the pain away? No, it does not take the pain away. It actually coldens the heart, makes the heart colder because of the fact that they have now gotten into this space of anger and frustration to the point where they wanted to kill someone. And there was recently a quote in the Lord of the Rings TV show, Rings of Power. It says, "It darkens the heart to call dark deeds good." It darkens the heart to call dark deeds good. The concept of the death penalty is vengeance. It's not judgment. Vengeance, not judgment. And what is vengeance? Vengeance is anger, frustration. It's, screw you. You have harmed me. I'm going to harm you back, right? It only hurts the person who is so vehement about killing someone. It only puts them in that space of not caring. Now, that person who is going into prison for life, that person is not going to live a pleasant life. They're never going to be free again. So that's a very interesting outlook if you think about it. The other thing is that in a death penalty and in the people who are judging those, it is your physical world experience to choose to hate, to choose to reap vengeance, to choose to try to fill your heart with the ending of another individual because of a harm that they have done to you personally. It really is your own fear of them getting away with it. Is they have taken my love and they're going to get away with it. And you're afraid that because they've taken love from you, you're afraid they're going to get away with it. And so you want the death so that you can say they didn't get away with it. But if I'm right, you just sent them to paradise. So, the death penalty choice is an interesting one, but for me, it's an easy one. I don't choose to send someone to the death because I know the other side is beautiful and wonderful and tremendous, right? I choose to keep them away so they can't cause that kind of harm again, and literally let them live out their life in a place that won't be pleasant for them, but cannot harm another. And the most loving thing you sometimes can do is be the consequence. But the question is, are you sending them to paradise, or are you sending them to a place where they will actually have to live out their life experiencing the consequence of what they did? For me, it's all about imprisonment. I don't want to send them to their death because for me, though it would be a loving thing to do to send them to their death, to send them to have the experience of realizing the harm and the cause and the pains and the things that they've done, it would be a loving thing to do, absolutely. But no one's perfect in this world, and sometimes decisions like this can't be perfect in this world. And for me, I would rather keep them from harming others and let them see the consequences of their actions by having them imprisoned and not being have the freedoms to do have those choices to act upon them again. So that's my thought on it. I don't know what your thought is on it, but you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye. Thank you so much for watching. The John of New channel is solely funded by your generous donations and purchases of private readings and merchandise. To help out, go to johnofnew.com or use the donation link in the description below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.